Alright guys, another Steam Next Fest means more demos to play and rank, and this process was so much fun last time. But this time we're going to switch it up a bit. The ultimate goal of the Steam Next Fest videos are to see which games earn their spot on the infamous Steam wishlist. But yeah, anyways, I'm ranking things in order, but I want to be clear that none of these games in the video are bad. If I didn't like a demo, I just didn't include it on the list. Anyways, let's stop yapping and get to ranking the best demos from Steam's June 2025 Next Fest. Man, there are roguelikes everywhere in the Steam Next Fest, and this time we're kicking it off with another one, Voidbreaker, an FPS roguelike where you're trapped in a simulation and you're trying to break free with the help of a dead man whose consciousness is stuck inside the simulation with you. The story premise in Voidbreaker grabs you pretty quick. The game's sole developer, Daniel Stubbington, did a good job at making a simple but very interesting story premise that grabbed me right away. This is especially cool since the game is a roguelike, and roguelikes, story-wise, fall to the wayside quite often. I like the overall aesthetic of the game. The art style looks great and does a good job of making it feel like you're in a computer simulation, which, like I've said a couple times now, is the point. The graphics are high quality, and it's even more impressive when you remember that the game was made by just one guy. I think the gameplay is fun and fast-paced. There are several things you can do in combat that makes each encounter fun, like, you know, being able to pick up and throw things, throw grenades, and double jump and dash. You also get unique abilities and buffs after encounters, changing each run every single time you play. There's something that I thought was pretty funny that I want to talk about, but the enemies give off heavy Sonic Frontiers vibes. I don't think they're like carbon copies or anything like that, but the angular metallic nature of the enemies gives off the Sonic Frontiers vibes. The only issue that I had with Voidbreaker was I believe I encountered a bug at the beginning of the game. There was a encounter that I had where I had to pick up a cube and like bring it somewhere or put it somewhere, but I couldn't. I pressed the pickup button. I could pick up other things besides the cube, and considering it was my very first encounter in my very first run in Voidbreaker, it did impact my initial impressions with the game. But I'm glad I didn't let like a bug bother me and dissuade me from continuing the demo. I can't wait to see what happens with Voidbreaker and where it goes, and it's earned a spot on the wish list. You know, I went into TerraTech Legion thinking I wouldn't like it. I'm not big into mech games or anything like that, but I'm glad I downloaded it and gave it a shot. I found myself addicted to the demo and ended up playing it for way longer than I thought I was going to. The overall aesthetic is pretty simplistic, but gameplay wise, the best I could describe it would be like mech RC car vampire survivors, which is insane. But like I said, I was super apprehensive at first, but quickly it hooked me. As you kill enemies, you pick up supply drops that give you mods to your RC car. The mods can be placed anywhere on the RC car, and eventually with enough mods, you'll have a crazy looking mech and just be shredding enemies. This is the core of the gameplay that I experienced. It's very simple, but very fun. You know, I don't think I could sit down and play it for super long sittings, but for little spurts here and there, I think it's good. I was pleasantly surprised by TerraTech Legion, and I'll definitely be playing more in the future. At first, I just thought I would straight up hate Starbirds. I picked a bunch of demos to download and try out. I tried out like 40 to 50 demos, and when I downloaded Starbirds, I was apprehensive. I didn't even think I would like it, but the art style was just super charming and well done, and it hooked me in with that, so I wanted to give it a shot, and I'm glad I did. Like I said, the art style is super charming and well done, but mechanically, I was iffy. I didn't know if I would like it, but I'm glad I tried it out anyway, because Starbirds does a great job luring you in, but keeping you with the gameplay mechanics. The best way to describe Starbirds to me would be a resource management game. You go to different asteroids and harvest resources, then those resources constantly gather in your like pooled inventory as you move asteroid to asteroid, harvesting resources and advancing in tech as you progress. On the asteroids themselves, you hook different harvesters to collectors that are collecting different resources, and you drag pipes and place pipes in between the different machines, and it's extremely satisfying to see everything working and harvesting your resources. This game is very simple at first, you know, place collector, place harvester, hook collector to harvester, gain resource, and at first, it starts off very simple, but I bet in the full game, more, you know, even more so than in the demo, it gets more in depth, and there's probably a ton of more things that you can do as you progress in the full game. And I'm really excited to pick it up and try it out. If I won at the casino for every time a slot machine game was in the Steam Next Fest, I'd have won twice, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Spinny Dungeon is a slot machine roguelike with a fantasy dungeon crawling spin. Spinning the machine costs food. You need to recoup food to keep playing. As you spin, you'll get weapons that appear on the slots. You'll also notice enemies start to appear in the slots as well. These enemies appear in a fixed spot and move closer to you column by column each spin. The weapons that appear each spin deal damage to these enemies, so you want to try to beat them before you get dealt damage by them. There's so many different weapons and slots that you unlock as you play, giving your slot machine its own unique build each run. It's fun to see how your build works out when it comes to beating these enemies and high-level bosses. Again, this is the type of game that I don't think you could sit down and play for super long sittings. But if you want a simple to understand but unique take on the roguelike genre with a little bit of gambling in there, then Spinny Dungeon is a fun time. Abyssus? I don't know, man, but Abyssus is a first-person action roguelike where you proceed through rooms as you kill enemies. Throughout each run, you get buffs that make you stronger. There's also a hub world where you can craft and upgrade equipment. What I really liked about this game was its nautical steampunk art aesthetic. I think it really sets it apart from other games in this genre, and the game is honestly just a fun FPS roguelike. I really don't have much to say besides that. I mean, at the beginning of the demo, I had a bug where I couldn't see my gun, but it looked like I was just fingering in the air and people were dying, but eventually my gun did appear in my hand. I love games like this. They appeal to my favorite parts of gaming as a hobby, and I'm hyped to play more Abyssus. I'm kidding, Abyssus. Hell Is Us grabbed me immediately when I saw the trailer for the first time. The dude with the triple chins gave me such weird vibes, and I also really liked his design. I was also intrigued by the enemies with like the weird hole in their face. What surprised me the most is that Hell Is Us is a third-person action adventure game. There's dialogue options and skills you can unlock as you progress. It feels like what I would imagine a Death Stranding Souls-like combo would feel like. And even though I'm not a big Souls fan, this game had me hooked. The setting, the story, everything about this world makes me want to learn more and figure out what's going on. Another aspect about this game that I like is that it doesn't hold your hand. There's no waypoints or anything. You need to pay attention to what people are saying to you to progress and learn more. I really liked Hell Is Us, but the reason it isn't higher up on the list is, well, one, I like the games higher up on the list better, but also two, this game has a lot of backing. Sony is putting out trailers for the game, and I believe it was even first revealed at a State of Play. I really want to highlight indie titles more than anything here with these videos, and even though I liked Hell Is Us, I enjoyed other demos more, and I really wanted to push these good indies to the top. Jump Ship is a sci-fi multiplayer survival game where you get your own ship and go out on missions to collect resources. You're trying to upgrade your ship and gear with the ultimate goal to get to the center of the galaxy. The game is a lot of fun and looks amazing. I'm surprised, honestly, at how good it looks. It looks AAA and not indie at all. The game is fun to control and feels good to play. Jump Ship was fun, but I could imagine having more fun with your friends. I think this game is going to go crazy in the survival game community, and if you already love survival games, you should really check this out. Moonlighter 1 has been on my wishlist forever, and I just haven't gotten around to playing it yet. But when I saw Moonlighter 2 had a demo up for the Next Fest, I had to check it out. Oh my god, a second roguelike hit the list! Moonlighter 2 is unique in the fact that after each run that you complete, you come back and put treasures that you collected on sale in your own shop. You have to barter and persuade people on buying your items at your shop, and you try to persuade them to buy at good, for you prices. The game is a top-down perspective, and the combat in the runs is a ton of fun. There's different moves and abilities that you can utilize in combat. One move is a range attack that you can do, like a gun kind of, but in order to bank ammo to do more shots with it, you have to get melee hits on enemies. Stuff like this makes each run challenging and engaging. I want to live as long as possible in each run, not just for the fun of the combat and the leveling, but to get better treasures to put in my shop so I can make some bank when I get back. The game has extremely good, but also very relaxing music, which is unusual for me. I'm not used to hearing music like this in a roguelike game, but I really liked it. The story, I don't understand too well, as I've never played Moonlighter 1, but I can't say as much to the story. I don't want to critique it, but what I will say is that Moonlighters 2 Next Fest demo did get me hype. I'll definitely be buying them first game in anticipation to play Moonlighter 2. Look at Randy Pitchford. He's the CEO of Gearbox. I like some of the Borderlands games. What the fuck does he know about being a real fan? Sorry, I just wanted to mention Randy because we were talking about Mycopunk. That's really it. Mycopunk is a unique multiplayer co-op shooter with tons of humor and character. It really gave off old Borderlands vibes and hooked me in right away. In Mycopunk, you can select different hunters and set off on missions with different difficulties and objectives. After you complete those objectives, you have to try to survive until you get extracted out. The different hunter abilities are fun to experiment with and try out, and its shooting does feel really good. One of my favorite parts of the gameplay loop is the enemies. They're this weird spherical parasite thing that multiplies. What is unique about these spherical enemies in Mycopunk is that when you kill them, the ones that are still alive absorb and attach the limbs of the dead parasites to them, becoming this giant, harder to kill amalgamation of body parts. It really tripped me out watching these sphere bug things pulling and attaching limbs to themselves as I was shooting at them. What really shines in Mycopunk is the art style though, because man, it's just so unique and good to look at. And they didn't even have to steal it from somebody on Twitter. It takes me back to my younger years when I look at it. It was like super nostalgic to me when I played it, and I've never even seen footage of this game before. I had to add Mycopunk to my wishlist because man, this game just hooked me in and it was so fun to play. You guys really gotta try to take a look at Mycopunk, not just to piss off Randy Pitchford, but also to check out a cool ass game that has unique art style and fun ass gameplay. Alright, baby, we're gambling again. Let's get it. But this time, we have to repay our debts. Clover Pit is a slot machine roguelike where you need to get enough money to repay your debt, and if you don't, you'll get dropped to your death and forced to start another run. Clover Pit does an amazing job turning such a simple concept into a fun and unique experience. I found myself playing way longer than I thought I would, and even playing after I played all the other NextFest demos on my playtest list. The gameplay loop is simple: get money, spend on slots, repay your debts to a certain amount each run, or get killed. If you have money to spare, you can buy buffs that increase your odds or payouts in different scenarios, allowing you to kind of build craft a specific playstyle each run to achieve the ultimate goal of paying back your debt. You'll also get an anonymous phone call every once in a while, giving you more buffs to alter the experience. The gameplay is fun and addicting, as you'd expect slots to be, but what sets Clover Pit apart from previous roguelike slot machine games is its atmosphere. You are locked in a rusty metal room all by yourself, with creepy magazines, a bin full of rotting meat. There's a singular red phone that I mentioned earlier, and a computer you can use to look at unlockables. There's also a camera watching you at all times, and someone talking to you, telling you how much you need to repay your debt. You aren't standing on a solid floor in this room either, but a wire gate that will open below you and drop you. The game's graphics look great, and even though the game is creepy as hell with the environment, the graphics are super charming. The graphics, to me honestly, are extremely similar to the game Mouthwashing. Clover Pit was truly my underdog. When I picked it out on the list and tried it out, I never expected it to rank this high for me, let alone getting #1 on the list. But its gameplay and creepy environment pulled me in, and it became my favorite game of the June Next Fest. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really had a ton of fun downloading and trying out all these different demos. This time around, I played around 40 to 50 demos, and these were the ones that I enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe to see the next Steam Next Fest video. I also yap about different games I'm playing all the time, so if you're interested in hearing somebody talk about games who is deeply passionate about it, I hope you'll subscribe and check out the channel further. Thank you guys so much again for checking out the video. Peace out. See you guys next time.